What's up, everyone? We're Draft Dashboard, and we're locking in our NFL DFS picks for Tuesday, February 10. This slate is a rematch environment with both teams facing tough defenses overall, so we're leaning into volume, role security, and leverage angles backed by recent form and news. Let's start at quarterback. We like Sam Darnold from Seattle at 16,200 with a dash rank of 118 projected points against New England, who have a tough defense overall. He's coming off 30 fantasy points one game ago, with 9 and 9 before that, and he's projected to be about 0% owned. We're prioritizing him because the passing tree has condensed around Jackson Smith and Jigba per multiple reports, and Darnold just powered Seattle to a Super Bowl win, as covered in several post-game articles, which reinforces his trust with the coaching staff near the goal line and on key downs. If Seattle moves the ball but stalls in the red zone versus a tough defense, that still gives Darnold multiple touchdown paths and strong correlation with our Seattle receivers and kicker. We also like Drake May from New England at 16,500 with a dash rank of 95 and 21 projected points against Seattle, who have a tough defense overall. He's posted 16, 17, and 19 fantasy points in his last three and is also projected to be about 0% owned. The news cycle called his Super Bowl performance dreadful, and Cam Newton even weighed in about dealing with heartbreak. That keeps his ownership depressed. We're buying the bounce back on volume with bringbacks from Seattle. If you think New England trails again, May's passing attempts should stay elevated, making him a sharp tournament pivot off Darnold stacks. At running back, Kenneth Walker III from Seattle is a priority at 14,700 with a dash rank of 82 and 16 projected points versus a tough New England defense. He's logged 21, 39, and 17 fantasy points in his last three and is projected to be about 0% owned. The narrative is massive. He just won Super Bowl MVP, and yes, some fans argued Jason Myers should have gotten it. But the takeaway for us is red zone trust and finishing ability under high leverage, as reported widely. In a tough matchup, we bank on role stability and touchdown equity. Ramondre Stevenson from New England at 13,200 carries a dash rank of 62 and 16 projected points against Seattle's tough defense. He's gone 7, 12, and 16 fantasy points recently and is projected near 0% owned. There were reports midweek about concern after a team injury announcement, so we'll monitor news. But as a DFS tournament play, he's leverage on Drake May lineups. If New England tries to shorten the game and keep Seattle's offense off the field, Stevenson's touches rise and he brings touchdown paths at a discount. Wide receiver time, and we're building around Jackson Smith and Jigba from Seattle at 11,600 with a dash rank of 100 and a strong 27 projected points versus New England's tough defense overall. He's averaged 23 fantasy points per game with recent scores of 34, 11, and 14. And he's projected to be about 0% owned. The news is as bullish as it gets. Reports say he played the biggest role of any receiver for a Super Bowl winning team in NFL history. He's taken over as Seattle's primary receiving threat in year 3, and he just finished a statement season as the league's receiving yards leader. This is elite role plus elite recent production, so we're prioritizing him in both captain, MVP, and flex builds. We also like Cooper Kupp from Seattle at 7,800 with a dash rank of 91 and 9 projected points in the same tough matchup. He's posted 14, 11, and 5 fantasy points in his last three and is projected to be about 0% owned. The price is the appeal. Reports outlined how he integrated into Seattle's offense in 2025 and became a steady starter. If defensive attention squeezes JSN, Kupp is the veteran pivot with double-digit target upside in certain scripts and great salary relief for stacking Darnold. For a value WR, Rashid Shaheed from Seattle at 6,300 carries a dash rank of 78 with 10 projected points versus a tough defense overall and recent games of 6, 9, and 1. projected around 0% owned. He's a classic leverage dart. News highlights him as one of the league's most dynamic special teams playmakers and an unsung hero type. We like him as a field-stretching pivot off JSN and Coop in large field tournaments to capture a single deep ball or short field touchdown. At tight end, A.J. Barner from Seattle is in play at 7,200 with a dash rank of 64 and 8 projected points against a tough New England defense. His recent games are 3-0-3, and he's projected to be basically unowned. He's leverage off the Seattle wideouts. If red zone looks swing his way, he can beat this salary quickly in a low-scoring, field goal-heavy game. Austin Hooper from New England at 3,000 has a dash rank of 43 with 3 projected points against Seattle's tough defense and recent games of 0, 2, and 0. Ownership is near 0, and that's exactly why we like him as a punt TE in May's stacks. Reports noted his veteran profile in this run. If protection issues push quick throws, Hooper can volume his way to value at the stone minimum. Kicker time. Jason Myers from Seattle is a core piece at 8,100 with 11 projected points versus a tough New England defense. He's produced 7, 11, and 8 fantasy points in his last 3 and is projected at essentially 0% owned. The news is huge. He made 5 field goals in the Super Bowl, the most ever by a kicker, and there was even chatter about him deserving MVP. Against a tough defense that can stiffen in the red zone, we love the field goal projection and correlation with a Darnold and JSN-led move the ball script. Andy Borregales from New England at 7,500 has a dash rank of 46 with 9 projected points against Seattle's tough defense and a recent log of 4, 4, and 10 projected near 0% owned. Reports highlighted his standout rookie season and consistency. If New England stalls between the 30s against a strong defense, Borregales benefits with multiple attempts. On defense, the Patriots' DST at 6,000 carries a dash rank of 58 with 6 projected points and a recent run of 12, 7, and 5, and they face a middle-of-the-pack defense overall on the other side when viewed through their opponent rank lens at 14. With everyone gravitating to Seattle's skill players after the Super Bowl buzz, Patriots' DST is pure leverage. If you build around a lower-scoring game with turnovers or sacks, this play fits salary and strategy. For flex construction, we're centering builds around Jackson Smith and Jigba, given the dash rank 100, 27-point projection, elite role per multiple articles, and recent ceiling of 34. Kenneth Walker III is our alternate flex for touchdown paths and game control after the Super Bowl MVP narrative reaffirmed his high-leverage usage. For a site-specific value, the Seahawks team at 4,400, with a dash rank of 53 and 5 projected points, faces a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and at about 0% ownership can be used as a salary saver in formats that allow a team's slot in flex to correlate with Seattle-heavy lineups. To tie it all together, Darnold with JSN and Myers, bring back with either May or Stevenson if you're playing multiple lineups. If you fade JSN, pivot to Kupp or Shaheed plus Barner to flip Seattle receiving exposure. If you prefer New England volume, stack May with Hooper or Borregales and bring back JSN to capture a trailing script. We're leaning into the toughest defenses overall by prioritizing players with the most secure roles and documented usage, supported by the recent news cycle. JSN's historic Super Bowl impact and WR1 takeover, Darnold leading Seattle to the Lombardi, Walker's MVP touch profile, and Myers' record-setting field goals. Ownership is projected near 0% across the board, so construction and correlation will decide the slate. Good luck, everyone.